What is up, pretty people? I'm back. Alright, so in the last video that I filmed, which was the get ready with me video, I said that I didn't like watching people just talk to a camera, but I already have my hair and makeup done, so I'm just gonna be talking to the camera. So we're just gonna sit on my couch and talk. So this story I mentioned in my get ready with me video was it's about the girl that went after my boyfriend. She went after my boyfriend and I didn't like it. So, alright, so where to begin? Okay, so I work at a restaurant and I work with this girl's sister. I started working at this restaurant back in the summer of 2016 and she, I guess, liked me right away and welcomed me in, and she was great, and she's known as like kind of like the leader, you know, like if you're not in good graces with her, then you're kind of screwed and your job is hell there. And she liked me right away. We both dye our hair the same exact color, and she was like, I really like you because you're a bitch and you just don't care. Like, you took charge and you weren't scared about anything. You just did your job and you're good at it and everything. And she invited me out like in my first week of training, and we got along really well. And so I actually, for my 30th birthday, I threw my birthday party at her house because I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. It was too small, and she let me throw my party there, and I did a 90s party, and it was so much fun, and she helped me with it. She helped me buy all the stuff and decorate and make all the food, and it was great. I went to her Halloween party. We would go out to the bar all the time after work. Like, I was like in the little inner circle or whatever, and it was great. So come last year, actually it was not even last year. It was, okay, so right now we're in 2019, so it wasn't, the drama happened in 2018, in March of 2018, but before that, it was in 2017 when my boyfriend got a job at a nearby restaurant where it just so happened that her sister also worked at. So her sister is closer to my boyfriend's age. I'm a few years older than my boyfriend, and her sister is a few years younger than my boyfriend. And she, when he first started working there, she didn't know that he was dating me, and she went up to him right away and was like, hey, what's your name, blah blah blah. And one of the first questions she asked was, do you have a girlfriend? And when he told me that, I was like, oh, so she likes you? And he was like, no, I don't know. She was just like being nice and making conversation, I guess. And my boyfriend hasn't like dated anyone. Like, I'm like his first girlfriend, so he's really naive when it comes to this stuff. And I'm like, I'm a girl. I know that she likes you, but okay. So I end up texting my friend, and I'm like, hey, you know what's so funny? Like, your sister and my boyfriend are working together, and I think she might like him because she like asked him if he has a girlfriend or whatever, and she was like, really? Oh, she usually likes black guys because my boyfriend's white. And she's like, oh, she usually likes black guys. And then she asked her sister, she's like, oh my god, no, like I was just being nice, I was being friendly. And she's like, no, she would tell me. Now her sister is 19 and she is like 29, so they're like 10 years apart. And so like I don't think her sister would like, and my friend raised her, so not raised her, but you know what I mean, like she was a big part of her life in raising her, and she looks up to her, so she's not gonna like just tell her like, yeah, I like him, you know what I mean? She's gonna keep that kind of stuff to herself. So especially when it involves someone that she knows. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, whatever. I just let it go. And I mean, it wasn't like I was upset. I just thought it was funny. It wasn't like a big deal to me at all. So time passes by. My boyfriend works there for like, I want to say 3 months maybe. And during that time, he would tell me like, oh, you know, she said this, you know, she's always kind of like flirty with me. And as time went on, she was like, she would be like, so she found out that, you know, he was dating me, and she went up to him and she's like, oh, I didn't know you were dating Alex. And he was like, oh, yeah. And she was like, that's really weird. And he was like, why is that weird? And she was like, I just don't see you guys together. Like, you guys just don't go together. Like, and he was like, okay. Like, he was like, oh, that's weird. Why would you say that? And I know her, one, through my friend, but two, I actually know her because she worked at the restaurant that we work at. She worked as a hostess. So, like, I knew her and we were cool. Like, I never had an issue with her. So for her to say that, I was like, well, that's rude. Like, I thought we were cool, and then you're just gonna go to my boyfriend and be like, why are you dating her? That's weird. Like, you guys don't go together. I'm like, okay, rude. So that pissed me off, but I was like, all right, whatever, I'm not gonna say anything. So, and like, keep in mind that had this been anyone else, this story would be very different, but because it was my friend's younger sister, I kept my mouth shut for a very long time because I knew how my friend was and how protective she was of her sister and how protective I am of my sister. I understand. So I didn't want to create drama where there didn't need to be drama. So I just kept my mouth shut and I just was like, I'm just not going to say anything. It's not a big deal, you know. But so it got to the point where, you know, my boyfriend was coming home telling me these stories of things she was saying, and he was like, you know, I really don't want you to say anything, but I think I'm just going to quit because I don't want there to be issues. And I was just like, okay, I'm getting really pissed off. Like, why does she kept like asking him, like every time she'd see him, she'd be like, why are you with her? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And he's just like, why do you care? Like, I don't even know you. Like, stop asking me this, you know? And then finally, there came a point where I guess she ended up, he said that she was hanging out with this girl from their restaurant that wasn't really a good influence. And I think she was influencing her, and they came in kind of drunk or something one night, and like he said, it seemed like she was drunk, and she came in, and you know, she was just like, I know we belong together, I know we should be together, and all it, and like telling him all this stuff, and he was just like, oh, what? Like, he just walked away. He was like, I don't know what's going on with you, like, I don't like you, like, why are you telling me this stuff? Okay. And like at one point he finally did say, like, I'm with her because I like her and I want to be with her. Like, you know, you kind of got to stop asking me that. Like, stop. And she just kept doing it. So, finally, like, when he told me that, I was like, all right, like, that's enough. But he was gonna quit. So I didn't want to, like, have an issue when he was gonna leave the job anyway. So, like, what's even the point, you know? But one night we went to eat at the restaurant I work at, and she walked in, and we were sitting up at the bar, and she walked up to the bar because her sister was bartending, and she walked up to talk to her sister, and I was like, I don't want there to be issues. I'm gonna walk away and I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. So I walked to the bathroom, and when I come back, she's talking to him, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, why couldn't you talk to both of us? Like, if we're friends, why can't you talk to both of us? Oh, something that I left out was the fact that she would ask him, like, why don't we go to the gym together? Like, we should go work out together. And, oh, why don't we go to Universal? Because, like, him and I met at Universal, working at Universal, and she knew that. She knew that I worked at Universal, and she knew that he worked, and so he had a pass, and she was like, we should go to Universal, like, me, you, and this other kid that they worked with, and was, like, inviting them to, like, all go to the gym together, and all go to Universal together, and I'm like, okay, I thought we were cool, so, like, why aren't you saying, oh, yeah, me, you, and Alex should all go to Universal, or go work out, or something. Like, she never included me. She just was always inviting herself with him. And so, when I walked away to go to the bathroom that day, and then I came back and I see her talking to him, I'm like, okay, obviously you're shady, because if we were cool, you would just come to me and both of us together and be like, hey, how are you guys? Like, talk to us normally, but you waited till I stepped away to go to the bathroom to come and talk to him. And this was after he had left that restaurant, so she was like, oh, what happened? Like, why'd you leave? Blah, blah, blah. The minute she saw me walking back, she, like, ran away. She's like, okay, bye, see you later, and, like, ran away. And I'm just like, okay, obviously you're being shady. Like, you know something's going on if you're just running away the minute I walk up. So I was like, I can't do anything because I'm at my place of work, and you already quit, so I'm not gonna say anything. So I just walked away. So there was a point where she came, and after he had already quit, she came in to eat at the restaurant I work at with the little friend that was, like, not a good influence. and she was sitting up in the bar area, and my friend, her sister, wasn't working that day, but her best friend was, and they are like sisters. They just consider each other sisters. So she was bartending that day, and I just avoided the bar area because I knew that she was in there. I don't even think I knew she was in there. Now that I think about it, I didn't know she was in there until another server came up to me and was like, oh, I heard you have beef with her. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, she told me that you like want to beat her up. And I was like, what? And now he was like he liked to stir the pot a lot. But at this point, I just had it. Like, my heart was racing, and I was like, I cannot hold it in anymore. I've been holding this in for like 3 months. I haven't said anything because I didn't want to create issues where they didn't need to be had. I knew that my boyfriend was quitting the job. I knew that he wasn't going to see her again. I knew that it was going to create like a ripple with my friend. So I didn't want to say anything. But when he came up to me and he was like, yeah, she said that you have beef with her and that you want to fight her, I was like, all right, this is enough. Like, I have to clear the air. I can't just keep letting this slide on by. So she was sitting in a booth that was up against the wall. So it was her here and her friend across from her, and the wall is here, and the entry to the booth is right here. And the booth was like, the wall behind the booth was into the kitchen. So I just like, he kept like holding me back, like, no, don't go, don't go, don't go. And at one point, like, he was gone, and I just like around the wall and slid right into the booth next to her. Just like slid right in, and I just look at her and I was like, hey, what's going on? And she was like, what? What are you talking about? What? And I'm like, what's going on with you and my boyfriend? Like, what is the drama? Like, why are you telling Tyler that I want to fight? She's like, I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, listen, I don't know what is going on, but like, I've been hearing that you want to get with my boyfriend, that you're asking him why we're together, like, why is he with me, that you think you belong with him. And she's like, oh my God, I never said that. How could, I don't know what he's talking about. He's making that up. I would never see that. And her friend's like, yeah, no, she wouldn't. And I'm like, okay, nobody was talking to you. So I'm gonna need you to stay out of it, because I don't know. I know that you're like a little whore in your restaurant, so I don't need you butting in. And then she was just like, I wouldn't say that, blah, 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 like all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, you said it, so I'm gonna need you to fess up. Like, what is going on? Because I know my boyfriend, and my boyfriend wouldn't lie to me. And she was like, well, he's lying to you. And the other girl's like, yeah, like, he would flirt with all the girls in the restaurant and like all this stuff. And like, mind you, my boyfriend, like, he's like brand new to relationships before he met me. So I knew they were lying, because my boyfriend doesn't have social media. He doesn't like drama. He literally said, I'm gonna quit my job so that there's no drama. And he just was telling me this because he didn't know like that it would cause problems or anything. Somebody who wants to like, is flirting with girls and wants to pursue that, like, isn't gonna come and tell me this, and isn't gonna quit their job so that there isn't drama, and isn't gonna try to add drama to my life when he knows I work with the girls. So like, he's like a very good guy. He wasn't trying to create something out of nothing. And so I knew that what they were telling me, like, when I met him, like, I know how he is, and he's not a flirty person, and he's not like going after girls and all this stuff. So when they were telling me that he was flirting with all the girls, like, either he was just having conversations with them at work and they thought he was flirting, or they were just straight up lying. Because like, I know how he is. And like, I don't mean this to sound like I'm defending him, because I have dated guys who have cheated on me, and I know how guys are, and he's just not that type of person. Like, I'm not saying it would never happen, because you can't trust people 100%. So when they were telling me that, I'm like, okay, I know you're lying, because why is my boyfriend gonna sit here and lie to me and then go flirt with girls but then quit his job? That doesn't make any sense. So she was just like, oh my God, yeah, like, he was flirting with all the girls and doing that. And I'm like, okay, I know you're lying. And I'm like, you like to play this little innocent act, like, you know, holier than thou Christian little girl, because that's who she like claims to be. And like, I'm Christian too, but I'm not gonna act like someone I'm not. Like, if I'm doing shit I shouldn't be doing, I'm gonna own up to it. And she was like, you know, acting all innocent, holier than thou. So that was that. I just like went off on her, and I was just like, listen, like, you need to back off. Like, you know, the only reason I didn't say anything to you was because you're her sister, you're my friend's sister, and this is why I've held it in so long, because had it been otherwise, like, this would have been going down a long time ago. I would have been showing up at your job and telling you what's up, because I'm not going to sit here and have you disrespect me or my relationship like that, even after he told you to stop asking, even after he told you why he was with me, and you still kept nagging him about how you belong with him. And I would have set you straight, but because you're only 19, and because you're my sister's, or my friend's sister, that's why I didn't say anything. But whatever, I was like, we're done. I left. And now my friend's best friend was bartending, like I said, and she had like asked me before what was going on, and I just straight up told her, like, I was like, I'm done holding it in. She keeps going around talking about how she wants to be with my boyfriend, and I'm not gonna put up with it anymore. She's like, no, she wouldn't do that. And I'm like, you don't know her. Like, everybody puts on like you know, an innocent act for their family because they don't want like their family to know what they're doing. Just like, you know, she doesn't know that her sister, which was my friend, you know, the things that she does behind closed doors that I knew that she was doing, that she's not gonna let her. She's like, she smokes cigarettes, and her sister doesn't even know that because she was hiding it from her. So there's things that she was doing that she didn't want her to know. So I know they're hiding stuff from each other. So I'm just like, no, you don't know her, but okay. So that happened, and then literally, I'm not even kidding you, like within minutes, I get a text message from my friend, what's going on? And I'm like, nothing. And she was like, that's not what I'm hearing. And I'm like, this is between me and your sister. And she was like, what is going on? And I'm like, she keeps trying to get with my boyfriend. So I had to talk to her. And she was like, what are you talking about? And like, I told her, I was like, you know, he's told me that all the things she said and this and that. And she was like, she wouldn't do that. Like, you're cornering her in the booth and you're threatening her and you like are gonna go beat her up and all this. And I'm like, I didn't corner her in a booth. I sat next to her. It's not my fault that the other side of the booth was a wall. I just sat next to her in the booth. I wasn't like jumping all over her. I was literally at my place of work. I was on the clock. So like, I wasn't gonna do something that was gonna get me fired. I literally just sat down next to her and had a conversation with her. And she was like, no, like, she just like got really mad. I don't even remember what the text messages said, but she was like really upset. Like, how could I do that? She goes, why didn't you come to me and talk to me about it? I'm like, this has nothing to do with you. If your sister wants to act like an adult and say adult things to my boyfriend, then we're gonna treat her like an adult, and I'm gonna have an adult conversation with her, and I'm gonna confront her face to face. This has nothing to do with you. I'm not gonna go to you like, hey, can you talk to your sister about it? No, it has nothing to do with you. So, and I told her, and the reason I didn't say anything sooner was because she was your sister and you're going to defend her because you're protective of her. Like I understand you would be, because I would be protective over my sister. So she was like really upset about that, and this happened in March of 2018, and we are currently in January of 2019, and to this day we like don't get along anymore. I don't have a problem with her, and I contacted her after that, and I was like, hey, do you want to sit down and talk about this? And she did not want to talk to me. At work, the next time that I saw her, she was just livid, and she was just like talking crap, and like we got into it like in the, you know, server area, started yelling at each other because I was like, you know, this has nothing to do with you. Like, I'm not gonna come to you. Like, if you want to talk to me like an adult, let's talk about it like an adult. But you don't want to talk about it. You want to just mumble shit under your breath and protect your sister, even though clearly you don't know who she is for what she's doing behind your back. And, you know, I ended up getting called into the office about it because I think like people heard us bickering, or maybe she went to management or somebody went to management about it. So the managers pulled me in and was like, what's going on? So I had to break it down to them. They're like, well, they said that you cornered her and you were threatening her in the booth. And I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I was in my uniform. I was on the clock. Like, I'm not going to do something to lose my job over that. It was just, I was at my boiling point and I had to just say something because I don't know when else I would have an opportunity. And they're like, we understand where you're coming from, but you can't do it in your workplace because, you know, you could get fired. Like, she could call corporate and say that, you know, just say whatever she wants and get you fired. And I was like, all right, I understand. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it at work, but, you know, it was to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore and I just had to say something. So after that, she just pretty much just disappeared off the face of the earth. I think I saw her like once at my job again because her sister was working, but yeah, so that's that. Because we had like a circle of friends, and after this, you know, obviously we weren't like hanging out. Even before this, like we kind of had like drifted apart. And I was separating myself from her because I knew that if I hung out with her, I would say something to her, and I didn't want to. So I'm like, people moved and people quit jobs. So it wasn't like it was that big of a deal, like a big split in the group. But, you know, it was a point where I still had like mutual friends with her that we were close, and they heard both sides, and they were pretty much all like on my side, and they were all telling her like, listen, we all don't know our siblings like we think we do. Like, our siblings do things that we don't think they're gonna do, and you know, you're just gonna have to accept it. Like, she is an adult now, and she could be doing things but not wanting to tell you. And two, you know, I've met Alex's boyfriend, and he's not the type, like, he doesn't seem like the type, like, I know the type that would lie about this, and he's not that type of person. Like, he is a good guy. He wouldn't just go making stuff up for no reason, and like, the things that he's saying is very specific for him to just come up with this off the top of his head. So I don't think that he's lying about it. And maybe you should give Alex the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe she is telling the truth, maybe he is telling the truth, and maybe your sister did something wrong. And honestly, you shouldn't be this involved in something that has nothing to do with you, because it's between them. And you should just be like, listen, if my sister did that, she's wrong, but you know, this has nothing to do with her, so, or with me. And, you know, I appreciate that, but she's very stubborn, and a lot of people are, like, scared to get on her bad side because they think, like, their job is gonna be just so horrible, and she is the type, like, cause she was, like, the little, but I'm also very, very strong, and I don't put up with crap, so it didn't affect me. I was just like, yeah, I don't care that you don't like me anymore. I work here. We work together, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. And her friend, that is like her sister, like her best friend, she didn't talk to me for like a little bit, but then she just gave up and was fine. And I was like, listen, I appreciate you not holding a grudge just because your friend is holding a grudge against me. And she was like, yeah, we work together, and I don't really have time to like act like that at work. I'm not saying we're gonna go out for drinks, but we can be fine at work and be civil. And I was like, I agree. That's all I wanted. I don't need to sit here and like, I don't care about going out with you. Like, I don't. So I just want to be okay at work. But she doesn't want to do that. Now that it's been almost a year, she's like loosened up, and you know, I think the thing is that I don't hold a grudge that long. I don't really hold a grudge at all. So well, I can't say that because I guess, you know, her sister, I do hold a grudge against. But, you know, people that I like care about and I'm friends with, I'm not going to hold a grudge against you for that long. If we're, you know, if we talk about it, we just talk about it like adults and move on. But she didn't want to, and I was more than happy to just get over it. So I got over it on my end. She did not get over it on her end, and she just will hold the grudge till she dies. And I'm like, that's really sad, but that's on you. If you want to live your life that way, I'm not going to. I've moved past it. If you want to hold on to it, be my guest. It really doesn't bother me. But since I was over it, I was more than happy to I was fine with working with her. And then, you know, I think what got her to loosen up a little bit was one day when we were at work, she was super, super slammed. And she was asking for help, and nobody was helping her. And so I started helping her. I was like, what do you need? And she told me what she needed. She needed like 5 tables greeted and taken orders for, and get the drinks out and all this. And I went ahead and I did everything for her. I put orders in for her, and I did everything because I'm not going to sit here and like let you drown just because I don't like you, but like, or we have issues or you don't like me. Like, it's not that serious. Like, I don't care where I work. So I went and I helped her, and at the end of the shift, she's like, thanks for helping me. And I was like, you're welcome. And you know, I think that's when she kind of like loosened a little, to the point where like, we don't sit there and have conversations one-to-one, but we kind of did after that, because we both watched a show and we started talking about the show, and that would be fine. I'm like, all right, well, at least she's not like super pissed where she doesn't even direct eye contact with me. But it just, you know, we haven't like gone to the point where we're like, oh, let's hang out, you know, kind of thing. But she's like civil. She's been civil at work, and you know, she'll help me out if I need it, and you know, she will direct a word to me if she needs to. But it's still like a little bit of tension. You can feel it, that she's still not like 100% want to be comfortable with me. And I'm like, okay. But the funny thing is, like I said in my Get Ready With Me video, that I spent New Year's Eve with her because I went to the bar that she frequents, and I knew she was gonna be there, and I'm like, she's not gonna be happy about it, but guess what? It's a free land. Like, I can walk in wherever I want to. And I walked in, and we rang in the new year together, and you could see in her face, she was like, why are they here? Like, she was like annoyed, and my boyfriend was like, hey, like said hi to her, and she's like, and it's like, okay, it's been a year. We are adults. You are turning 30 this year. Like, it's 2019. Let's move past it. Why are you still holding a grudge? Like, I just find that so immature, you know? And so when we did the countdown, I was like, Happy New Year's, guys. And I cheered hers and her boyfriend. So I was like, Happy New Year's, Happy New Year's. Like, you know, I said Happy New Year to them, and they're like, Happy New Year. Like, because I'm like, I'm going to be nice. If you want to accept it, great. If you don't want to, whatever. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So I was just like, I wanted to show, like, hey, I don't care. Like, we can be cool. And if she wants to hold a grudge, it is what it is. But yeah, that is the story of how my ex-friend's sister went after my man, and I had to set her straight. So I know it was a little long, but I hope it kept you entertained. And yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know if anything like this has happened to you. And subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and stick around for the next video, where I have a million stories to tell, so I'll just have to see which one I'm going to tell next. But anyway, thanks guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!